Hi everyone, this is David Kapuku. Today we are going to talk about finding the quartiles of a given dataset. Let's look at our first problem of the day. Question 1. Determine the quartiles of each dataset using the approximation method. Let's look at part A. When given a dataset, the first question you should ask yourself, is my data placed in order? Looking at our data, we clearly see that our data is not in order. It is shuffled. So what we need to do, we need to place it in order. We'll get 60, 62. Now that we have placed our data in order, the next thing we need to do is to find the median. The median is the value of the dataset that breaks the dataset into two equal parts. So that means that we need to find the value that breaks our dataset into two equal parts. To do that, the first thing we need to know how many values do we have in our dataset. By counting the values here, we see that we have 14 values. Okay, so with 14 values, we know that if we have to break them into two parts, it's going to be part of 7 and 7. So by breaking that, we can break it right here. We see that on the left, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 on the left, 7 on the right, but in the very middle we do not have an actual value. So when we don't have the value, that's the value that we are looking for. But when we don't have the value right here in the middle, that's breaking our data into two parts, we take the two middle value and we average them. So for our case, the two middle value are these two. So it's going to be 70 plus 71 divided by 2. So we are averaging these two values, and then it's giving us 70.5. This 70.5 is what we are going to call the median of our data set. For this particular data set, the median is 70.5. In terms of quartiles, we are going to call it Q2. Now let's find Q1 and Q3. Q1 is the median of the lower half of the data set, and Q3 is the median of the upper half of the data set. So looking at the lower half of the data set, which is this, we clearly see that this value right here is what's dividing that lower half into two equal parts, because on its left it has 3 values, on its right it has 3 values. This value here, we call it Q1. Let's look at the upper half of the data set, which is this right here. The very middle part is 78, because 78 is dividing that into two equal parts with 3 values on the right and 3 values on the left. This value here, we call it Q2. So in summary, we see that we have Q1 of 65, Q2 of 70.5, and Q3 of 78. you could be asked to find the interquartile range, which is IQR. It's nothing but Q3 minus Q1. So we get 13. What is the minimum value of our data set? It is the lowest value of the data set, so it's going to be 16. And the maximum is the highest value of the data set, which is 81. So in brief, the number in the box are our quartiles.